Season 2023 has finished. I'm going to be ranking how every AFL coach did in the season 2023 compared to expectations. So I'm not ranking the coaches in isolation. I'm ranking them based on how they did. Starting off with Chris Scott. How did Scott do in 2023? Not too well. Obviously, grand final, straight back down. It has to be a D for me. I thought the experience of him and the players at the end would take them over the line to the finals, but they let some big games slip against some opposition around them. So obviously, Chris Scott would be severely disappointed with his performance. I think that's the second time he's not made finals whilst he's been in charge of Geelong. Maybe third, but I'm pretty sure it's just the second time. So overall, pretty poor season. Craig McRae, coming from Richmond, as I always say, he gets an S. Brilliant coach. I thought the other coaches would sort of find him out, learn how to counteract his style, how to combat it. But as evidently, winning the flag predominantly means that no coaches could get past you. Fabulous year for him. John Longmire. Now, it's obviously not just where the team finishes. It's also how I think the coach did, how they dealt with adversities. There is a difference between ranking the coaches and the team in general. I think injuries really did hurt them. You look at defensively, they lost both McCartans. Losing your two key defenders for the majority of the year will always, prove as a challenge. They didn't have the defensive depth to cover them. So overall, if you take that into consideration, alongside the fact that he kept the team relatively intact after that big adversity of losing the grand final, and like I said, the trend of getting dominated in the grand final one year, the year after, you don't make the 8. So he bucked that trend, and that's why I'm giving him a B. Alistair Clarkson next. It's a really hard one because obviously he took time off with the mental health. Purely based off the games he did coach, he did all right. He got those first 2 wins at the start of the season, but then the majority of the season he wasn't there. It was Ratton taking over. I'm not really sure where to put this because, he won the first 2 games and he didn't coach many games at all. So realistically, he did quite well, but then, you didn't really coach at all. So do you deserve much better than a D? We're going to give him I think a B. I think that's fair. It's hard to judge him though. Ken Hinkley. I think Hinkley gets an A. I predicted that they would, I guess I predicted them to finish first at the end of the home away season. So they more or less did that, making top 4. It was good. With the list he has, it's expected he makes finals. So in that respect, I don't rate him that much. I don't rate him as a coach, but the fact he got top 4 has to put him high. Out in straight sets has to drop him down. I think A is pretty fair. Simon Goodwin, I think it's a D. It's a failure. It's a complete failure from Goodwin. The Clayton Oliver situation, failure from him, even though, you might say it was the fitness coach